Hello there, my name is Joe from libtastic.ca. This will be my first video, so I hope you don't have any expectations. Today I'd just like to talk about something that I think is really important in this day and age, and something that I struggled with, and something that a lot of other people seem to be struggling with, and that is forgiveness. So self-forgiveness and forgiveness of others. So back when I started my journey, I was watching a lot of YouTube videos, a lot of listening to podcasts, reading books. And one of the things that kept popping up was, self-forgiveness. Because it's natural for us as human beings to kind of exist mainly in the past and in the future. So we're always imagining what's going to happen tomorrow. It's either going to be better than today and we'll be happy, or it's going to be catastrophic. And generally neither or. It's we catastrophize stuff, or we have hopes for the future, so we're not enjoying ourselves today. And then we also like to live in the past and dwell on things. So we dwell on all the times that people hurt our feelings and said nasty things to us, didn't show up, didn't follow through with their promises, and then we beat ourselves up for doing the same thing. Some of us. Some of us are able to see it, some of us unfortunately. But what I realized and what I figured out was that there is really only one moment, and that moment is right this second now. So the only Joe that exists in time, or the only you that exists in time, is really the one that exists at this moment. So you can look back at the past and you can remember all those things that you did, and you're feeling guilt and shame because you realize that you shouldn't have done them. You've understood that you made a mistake, and that mistake enabled you to grow and to hopefully change the way that you react to life and start responding to life. So we all made mistakes out of fear, out of just reacting. Somebody hurt us. We allowed them to hurt us. Because if you don't allow someone to hurt you, they can't hurt you. If you don't respect someone's opinion, their opinion matters absolutely. It does not matter. So you have to remember that people are operating from their level of consciousness. You are operating from a level of consciousness. Back then, your level of consciousness is not where it is today. So you reacted to life, you did those things, it doesn't matter how terrible those things are. If you can look back and realize that they're terrible and know in your heart that you're never going to do them again, then the person that carried out those terrible deeds doesn't exist, and it's not you, because you are you. The today you is the only you that exists. So if you feel the need to forgive yourself, what are you forgiving yourself for? Things that made you who you are today, a better person. So if it helps you, you can go back and you can apologize to people, if that's necessary. But you also have to realize that the people you're apologizing to have made mistakes as well. And they have to understand that they've made mistakes as well. You also have to realize that people are operating from a level of consciousness, and everyone, hopefully, most people are growing every day. So when one of those memories comes back of a friend who said something bad to you, somebody you really, really cared about and loved, and they hurt you that one time with something they said, really think about that. Really think about it. Was it worth letting go of that relationship? And for yourself, same deal. You've done something wrong. You hurt somebody. You know what you did. But is it worth beating yourself up today? Is it worth thinking about that constantly and just living a terrible existence of guilt and shame? Or is it best to just let that go and realize that you would never do that now? Therefore, there's nobody to forgive. The person you want to forgive doesn't exist. They're not here anymore. Something positive happens out of everything if you make it positive. And making a mistake is positive. Making a mistake is something you should sit back and think, I'm glad I did that, because now, moving forward, I'm going to be a better person. I'm not going to make that mistake again. It's a gift. And right now, people need to understand this. People need to start moving forward. People need to bury the hatchet that they've stuck in their own back. And to be able to move on and to be able to focus on the now. Focus on what you're doing today. And really, really focus on what your goals are and what you want for this world. Because now is so important that we do this. We need to start moving forward. We need to control our emotions. We need to figure out ways to forgive ourselves and the people around us and start treating each other in a different way. We need to have learned from those mistakes. And it involves going through a painful experience. It involves you looking inward, you looking at your life, and you examining yourself under a microscope. And unfortunately, you do have to bring up some memories. But if you can do it with this clear head, knowing that it wasn't you that made those mistakes, you've moved on, you're a better person. And just forgive yourself for those mistakes. And going forward, you're going to catch yourself. Going forward, when you feel the urge to react, you're going to remember what you did back then and how it turned out. You're going to remember those mistakes you made. You're going to take a deep breath. You're going to remember, and you're going to change your tactics. And that's the only way to grow. That's the only way to become a better person. And you also have to speak to those people from your past and just tell them the same thing. You know, I don't expect anyone to apologize to me ever. I have people in my life that I know can never change, that will never change, that are who they are, and that won't see because they hide, because they've been through hell, I guess. They've had their trauma, and they've protected themselves by absolutely hiding who they are to themselves. But most people in your life, most people that hurt you or did something to you, you've got to look back and you've got to realize that whatever level of consciousness they were at back then, hopefully they've grown. And you can help them grow by sending them this video, by helping them realize that you don't hold it against them. You know, rekindle those old relationships if you think it'll serve you. You know, shift your focus onto the good things that somebody did for you. Life's going to be better. You're not going to be feeling sorry for yourself. You're not going to be a victim. You're not going to be this, that, and the other. No one can hurt you unless you allow them to. And that includes you. You can't hurt yourself unless you allow yourself to. Because we live in a prison. We live in a prison of our memories and our imagination, like what's going on in the future. We're not living today. We're not understanding that if you shift your focus and start being grateful and start seeing people for imperfect and start understanding that their level of consciousness, they're learning. They're just learning. Because we've all met people that were douchebags at school or douchebags here, douchebags. And then you meet them and they're just like a totally different person. You're just like, holy cow. You know, because we judge. Because that one thing they did is now, that's who they are. And it's the same with people in prisons. People who have made mistakes. There are people who just have reacted to life. They weren't taught any other way. And you can't judge them and label them for the one thing that they did. Anyone can change, like absolutely anyone. Most people, let's say, but the majority of people can change. So really, it's like life changing. If you can just start forgiving yourself and start looking at life differently and understanding that we have to make mistakes. You're going to make mistakes today. It doesn't matter where you are on your journey. More than likely, you're going to screw up. You're going to fall back. You're going to have a bad day. You're going to react one day. You haven't had sleep. You woke up, couldn't find something. The dog puked on the carpet. You're not in a good mood, and you're going to react badly. But the important thing is that you're able to just immediately shift and understand why you did that. And forgive yourself for it, because then your day's going to go a lot better. You're not going to spend the day beating yourself up, thinking, oh, I've fallen back, I'm not progressing. You are. You've just got to stop yourself from those thoughts. You've got to stop them. And it's going to happen a lot when you first start doing this. It's going to happen all the time. And you're going to think you're a failure. You're going to think, oh, I screwed up again. Oh, I screwed up again. You're screwing up like that every day. But now you're just noticing it and you're aware of it, which is awesome. You're making great progress. And it will begin to happen less and less and less because you're going to be conscious. You're going to take a breath before you react. And it's just going to happen naturally. But you've got to do the work. You've got to understand yourself. You've got to understand humans. You've got to understand that's how people learn. And immediately just let it go, if you can do that. And one other very important thing you have to understand is that it's not only your brain that causes you problems, it's your body. Because if right now you close your eyes and you think about the worst thing that you've done in your life, where is that? What are you feeling? What do you feel? Is there a weird feeling in your tummy? Or somewhere else in your body? Because that needs work too. Your body's reacting, just like your brain, it's wired. It's wired to react in certain ways. What we need to do is start rewiring ourselves. We need to reprogram ourselves. That means mind and it means body. So there are ways of doing this. And who knows, the next video I might share some. But for now, I just wanted you to hear this message. I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it served you. And please share, because your friends need to hear this. Everyone needs to hear this message. Thanks for listening.